Esports and SuperMassive, they tried to make use of the disorientedness of disoriented. How do you say that, Riv? They were disoriented.
There we go.
That's how English works. They were disoriented, G2, and they tried to make picks. That's what they wanted to do. Get the Morgana in there, the TF, you know, find a straggler, pick him off, and then win the fight. But it turned out into these bigger team fights that G2 ended up winning. But it was a lot closer than it should have been, especially for a team of the caliber of G2 Esports initially going into the tournament compared to what SuperMassive was bringing to the table.
Final ban for SuperMassive. Graves is going to be what happens.
All right, let's take stock of this. There's 2 tier 1 junglers out. That generally means Kikis will have to insta-lock the Kindred. That does give the Ekko over. That's generally what teams go for. With Alistar open, a lot of these teams on this rotation would go Alistar Ekko.
Yeah.
But we've seen that Dumbledoge likes these, call him cheesy support, call him pocket picks, call him what you want. He hasn't had the biggest priority on the likes of Alistar just yet. But maybe they realize that they can actually just play the normal game against G2 and be better.
It does kind of make a question, right? Why don't you play the Thresh if you want to pick, or hook into Morgana we've seen recently. Something. But he still likes to go for those, I'm going to fight like I'm a top laner in these. Braum could be the pickup as well. Lets him get in the fight. They also get that Poppy. It's not going to be a flex this time.
Nope, no flex here. Very surprising, though, to opt into that Poppy. That will likely be then the Ekko on the other side, unless Kikis wants to play a different matchup. The Ekko Poppy matchup has been played 9 times so far in the tournament.
Yeah.
Also the most picked top laners, 13 times each, Poppy and that Ekko. So matchup we've seen time and time again. But G2, they're going to hide their top laner and see what the rest of the composition brings. Lock in a strong mid laner here with the Azir. And then obviously deny that from the enemy team because the Azir is also good into the Kindred, you know, can shove people out of the ulti.
Yep.
And again, look for something, team fight oriented. Because they will definitely not win 1-3-1 with the Azir. They have a Sivir here for Emperor. Hopefully he can survive laning phase safe as he can. And then GT, they want to group and make plays together as a team.
It's something they have to bring back. They need to find that synergy. Spawn was referencing the vacuum mentality that you had spoken about, and it seems like a lot of teams, even SKT is falling into that. It's kind of the tournament aura, and if you don't have the shield for it, it takes a bite.
Yeah, when you lose the track of the bigger picture and the map plays, and you don't actually know what your team's next goal is, like what is the objective you're playing for now, a minute from now, 2 minutes from now, then you start playing what's on your screen. Can I kill this guy? Yeah. I don't know if somebody's coming to gank me. Well, let's see what happens. And that is kind of the playing in a vacuum, and hopefully these teams are stepping away from that, because G2's strength overall was aggression in Europe, but it was always with a purpose, it felt like, always with a goal. Accelerating the pace of the game, not just random fights all over the map.
Achuu back to the Ezreal as well. Least is going to be picked up for Stomaged. Where do they go from here?
That actually looks pretty good for G2 in a normal laning situation already, and even in the lane swap, because Sivir is just super strong in lane swaps, because he picks up the tempo very much so. So we need to see if the counter pick from Naru here can work. Yesterday he went with a Twisted Fate into the Azir, and they couldn't make enough picks. But again, right now, look at how scrappy this composition is for the Turkey region here. They want to just isolate a target, find it alone. But it's going to be harder in team fights because you have Janna that can reset it. And we've seen Aframu show the power of that Janna pick. In my opinion, he was the main reason CLG beat SKT with that Janna pick.
It can, that's the last moment things. When you feel like you have the execute, you have the kill, you can stop an assassin. It's what throws the fight on tilt. And it's really where you can yo-yo back into your favor. Janna can do that Azir as well with Emperor's Divide, and even the speed the entire team will get out of that Sivir on the hunt. Very big skirmish from both sides that could happen. Hopefully they can find the TF picks on the side of SuperMassive.
They definitely need to, because I'm actually a big fan of the composition that G2 have drafted for themselves here. If you look at laning patterns, all 3 lanes should actually be pushing. Ekko has dominance over Poppy early. On average has like a 9 CS lead over the Poppy matchup at 10 minutes. Also has control of the wave. Sivir Janna will always outpush an Ezreal Braum. And Azir is kind of the king of pushing in the mid lane. TF can comfortably farm under his tower, but that means Trick can finally play his preferred style again. 3 pushing lanes, weave the jungler in between. He will need to be careful. When you face second at least, you lose. If you find her, you win. So that is the game we'll need to be watching and see what Trick can do today.
Well, it's about that time. We're going to get started on day 4 while the players load onto the Rift. Head over to Twitter and show your support as always. Be sure to tweet at LOL Esports with a hashtag G2win.
Or if you prefer Turkey region, hashtag SUPwin. Sharing the burden of those Twitter votes.
Absolutely.
Get a little heavy.
We'll be sure to update those as we get into game. And as you know, as the Rift goes on, we'll show it before we get into game. The Rift has to be owned. It's head-to-head as we come down to this, and there's no kind of question about it anymore. If you've been watching, you know who has that head-to-head, and this time it's going to be Europe's. G2 Esports owns the Rift. Will they be able to own the game, and will they be able to start the comeback to the position where many thought they would already be
at least
in this tournament?
The fans are still rallying behind them.
Yes.
Locking in those icons in the client. Yeah, I'm excited. I want to see if G2 managed to kind of reset their mentality. It's something Aaron, the coach here, formerly of WE, now EDG, just talked about. It's very important to look at mentality from players because we only see what's on screen, so we have no idea of what's behind, what's going on, how the communication is like. But from my experience as well playing in teams, it is one of the biggest factors because communication breeds communication. If somebody's talking, you are so much more likely to join in and add info. Yeah. But when things start going wrong and you have this democratic shot calling, suddenly nobody's talking. Nobody's asking even, guys, what's the next play? And then everything starts crumbling down. There's
different ways it can fall apart as well. And one of my favorite sayings is silence is chaos. And say, you know, the top laner's getting hit, but the shot caller's still able to make calls. That's perfectly fine. If the shot caller gets hit too much and he starts to get quiet, the whole team gets quiet. And that's where it can really start to open up. Talking about a lot of things that haven't happened yet, let's focus on what will and can happen here in the game.
Ooh, I like what G2 is doing here. They're going to invade potentially to spot out the lane swap, and if not, they'll find out whether it's a normal laning pattern or not. Generally, range supports want to keep the level 1 as long as you can, because they will win the trades. There's no way melee supports can outrate, despite an all-in. All-ins never happen anymore. So the longer you spend on level 1, the better for your 2v2. That's why you want to deny melee supports a camp if you can. Let's see if G2 get punished for the face check, because they will get spotted on the ward here. So that's good for them already. All the standard lane matchups are going on as well. So technically, G2 Esports should be able to push in all 3 lanes. And then we need to keep our eye on Trick, because he's the person that's died the most this tournament so far. And he is actually such a smart player overall in the European region, but he has not shown it at all in this tournament.
His Kindred play previously was actually quite good, but then tunneled into too much aggression, tunneled into actually losing quite a bit of gold for the team. Yesterday, Kikis, 4-1 on Poppy at 20 minutes. Almost wasn't utilized correctly. G2 isn't finding their stride.
Yeah, G2 slightly over pushing here in the bot lane, looking for trades. Perkz took a couple of cards in the face. And this is what we're talking about just now. Like the amount of dominance you have in the lane here, the trade is always on the side of the 2 range, especially since Janna can amplify the damage for Sivir. Not too much action will happen here because it's so unlikely that somebody dies in this lane, but that's generally the laning pattern.
Easy disengage from both sides once they start to go a little too hard.
Yeah. Nobody's really going to die spell shield as well. So I think we can start looking at some of these other lanes and see what's going on the map and just keep our eyes on the junglers, like which Scuttle Crabs are going to get, how many marks will Trick get, can he invade, can he find somebody?
Keeping an eye on those. First one out towards the bot side, so he'll probably go over and scoop that up right quick after his Raptors. You see top lane back and forth. Looks like Kikis is trying to push that in to give fabFabulous a little bit of trouble under the turret. Same with mid. We knew Perkz would be pushing in Naru. He's going to be farming that with his wild cards.
Yeah, Trick immediately looking for information. He sees the Wolf Sprite.
Early Wolf Smite.
Very early, taken recently, so he knows exactly where the enemy jungle is. Look at the pings as well. He's telling Elise is there. Obviously, helps if you spot him in a ward afterwards too. Guys, Elise is here. And this gives Perkz the freedom to do whatever he wants in his lane. This gives Kikis the freedom to play as aggressively as he wants. And G2 now have, plenty of information.
And this is a guy that's been focused over and over again. Teams took to it very fast. That Perkz, for lack of a better word, gets a little tilted when you go at him time after time, blow his flash and continue to go. So he just needs to play a little bit safer as well. With that, he can play aggressive. Whoa, they're walking it in. Very smart by Stomaged. Walks it right into Emperor. So the flash goes out. Teleport coming in from Kikis, and it has from fabFabulous as well. Emperor is going to go down, and that's 4 summoners blown by the bot lane here. Is SuperMassive going to get fabFabulous? No, he flashes out of the way. Trick's pulled himself too far forward. Double buff transfer over to Achuu in the bot lane.
From bad to worse here, G2 spot the enemy jungler on the ward. He walks in, and Emperor gets cocooned before flashing. Maybe he was respecting Stomaged so much that he thought he was going for the Mad Life, and he was going for the outplay by standing still, but the fact that he got hit by that cocoon was absolutely destructive for G2, and then they try to chase the loss. The
so much patience in this
fallacy.
game.
Look at it. No more spell shield. Stomaged is going to flash over cocoon, and Emperor heals. He doesn't flash.
He thought he would outrun the cocoon, but walked into it actually.
Or he thought Stomaged would go for the Mad Life, predict the flash overall. Doesn't really matter. Stomaged gets the play, and here, this is even worse. Emperor dying is understandable, but Trick chasing the loss, re-engaging, trying to make up for their mistake already, immediately after the play. That's exactly what has been setting G2 back in this tournament. They're not composed. They're not keeping track of things. They just, oh, something went wrong. We have to make it up right now or we lose the game. And it makes it even worse.
They've just put themselves in an even worse situation trying to make it better. The CS is actually quite even because everyone left the lanes even, but you'll see that start to amount in the side of SuperMassive. Now they're going to be items up coming into this. Kikis comes back with a seal. Trick trying to pick up his stacks.
And we talked about it, how much information. They pinged him at Wolves. They pinged him at Braum. They knew exactly where Stomaged was on the map. They saw him on the ward walking in, and G2 Esports still died, lost 1 teleport and 2 members. Then you have to question the overall view, the shot calling, because that's not supposed to happen. Like, what's going to happen when you don't see him coming? Like, 3 people going to die? 5?
Taking a breather now. Stomaged feeling very good. Stomaged, I should say, very good about his last gank. Can now go ferociously into the jungle and start to toy here with Trick. So I'll put him farther and farther behind, and that's going to hurt the rest of the team as well.
Yeah, that we do have to give credit, massive credit to SuperMassive here. Coming into a tournament with regional champions.
Around the road. Yeah, go ahead.
Not being afraid to just make these plays. Going in Perkz.
Oh, just a tad off. Naru took the steps necessary to make that happen. Now Stomaged knows he could probably go a mid lane to get something crazy coming back with an ult down. A lot of things going slightly wrong for G2. They're going to be real big quick.
Yeah, and we're wondering, you know, is their mental going to be fixed? Well, turns out if it was, it may just be broken again. Stomaged heading to the bot lane, looking for another play here. SuperMassive, they always manage to find these plays in every one of these games. They can't always close it out, but they're willing to fight their way out. And that seems to be the deal of the tournament.
They have a weakness at quickly adapting to anybody that's got a lead on them. But if they do have a lead, right, they go back to the batting order, they continue to fight, and they press that lead until they know they have something where they can make a bigger move, objective, inhibitor, and they're safely doing it. With the double teleports here and already being up, that could happen a lot sooner than later.
Yeah, it feels like SuperMassive style is a dynamic queue, 5-man dynamic queue, but a little more refined, you know, a little more communication, actual teleports. A little less flame in chat.
They have comms.
Yeah, they have comms.
That's comms. Coming up very big. They trust each other as well. There's always that, everybody going in on a bad call or hesitating on a good call.
And look how this lane has shifted from a completely winning lane here. Look at that trade though, that Achuu takes in so many minions.
Oh,
Hybrid shielded himself.
Achuu's eating them. What? What? Achuu goes down. Great throw by Emperor, and for them to actually see that was going to easily turn in their favor, an error here by the SuperMassive bot lane.
He died with heal up. He's dashed in with no flash up, playing as Janus Sivir, who still has heal themselves. Hybrid even shielded himself. There was no exhaust used whatsoever.
That's that one moment when you kind of just put to the wayside the 400+ games you played on against a champion or even on that Sivir, and you say, oh, that boomerang doesn't have range, but it does. And then you don't make that mistake again.
Yeah, the over-chase here. Hybrid did 400 damage in that exchange as opposed to Emperor 700, so they're actually pretty close. But the minions, they are the true MVP.
That was like 150 damage from the minions.
That is actually the biggest thing about bot lane trading. If you want to improve out there, just click on that minion, especially the cannon minion, read how much damage that does, and then start respecting it.
They're saying, even CLG said, SuperMassive, one of the really strong bot lanes here in this tournament. Kind of showing a bit of hesitation there in their gank, and then...
it's a fluke.
The fluke. It's obvious. Obviously. So 6 for Emperor, level 5 still in the bot lane, but it is for Dumbledoge, so he can ult to disengage. We might see G2 start to make a few moves towards an objective. Perkz is looking to open up the map by dropping mid-turret. Hopefully he can keep Naru here long enough to not TP or use that gate.
Yeah, that was a teleport down to the bot lane from Naru, trying to join that fight. Obviously, allowed Perkz to make a big dent in that tower.
Yep.
And now with G2 kind of getting that kill in the bot lane, things have equaled out. And they've made some down payments on that turret. Eventually, they can reap the benefits.
They're prepping it, looking for that return soon. Close. Almost worked out in their favor, even more than they would know. They probably did get an eyesight onto where Trick was, so they have him backing. What will Stomaged use this time to do?
Yeah, he's looping around the mid lane. He's going to walk into the minion wave, though. Let's see if he hides around the corner or just... He reveals himself slightly early, so there's no cuckoo path. because he has to walk by the minions, and obviously gives a lot of time to figure out, okay, what am I doing? What is he gonna do? There was flash available for Stomaged, elected not to use it. Obviously, Perkz is cleansed, so it's kind of a return deal. Gotta gank him once, then come back to finish it.
Yep. Well, if it was good enough one time, it should work twice, right? That's the whole deal. Summoner's back up here for the bot lane at G2. They're still able to get that kill without having to use them again. So on top of that Cole stack, a BF sword now sits. So Achoo's gonna have to be much more careful. Mana Moon in hand for him. It's really even around the lane, 73, 71. Jungler's even as well. It's the kills really that SuperMassive has picked up in the bot lane.
Yeah, since there was a little bit of an AD advantage on that Sivir Janna lane, they just elected to have Achuu solo farm and put Dumbledoge in a little bit of a roaming-oriented position. But what is Trick doing this deep in the enemy jungle without laning help?
He's going to pull Kikis over as well. Kikis won't have time, so not enough for him to get in. But yeah, Trick going a little too hard there. No vision in their side of the jungle as well. Or I should say they didn't see anybody. So they got to figure they're either coming over or they're making a gank somewhere else.
Yeah, and this is completely uncharacteristic of what Trick brings in the EU LCS. It's smart invades, supported by vision with a goal, and here is just aimlessly going in another teleport plus Destiny.
What's the first target? That's a level 7 Janna. Gonna hold the ultimate just for now. Steadfast Presence is on, but there goes the Howling Gale. Monsoon is out. Now they're on to Naru. Kikis picks ones up for himself, and fabFabulous drew himself into the fight, thinking it would be a one for none. He tried to get another one, may go down himself. fabFab's out of the fight now, and it was almost Perkz going down on the roam, and we are not done yet. Emperor goes down, and now they're on to Kikis. Once again, G2 trying to pull the cavalry in, but SuperMassive already there in time. Is Trick the one that makes them go for another initiation on this fight? Naru's up in 4 with teleport still on that mid lane, so they have to be careful. This is absolutely crazy. The picks are happening and G2 can't get their fight comp there in time.
Everybody is invited to the bot lane party here. It starts off with teleport Destiny, beautiful play, but then hesitation on the side of SuperMassive. They wanted to bait out the spell shield, walk up to Emperor, force him to fake it out, but he holds it very well, calm and composed, and then they switch to Hybrid. Let's watch this again. So TP comes down, they want to get Emperor, but obviously he has spell shield, so Naru switches around, but Hybrid is still in a good position to get the ulti out. Kikis has a good teleport, but then he greets. If at this point G2 back off, they have a net win. But they greed for the player, and especially look what Emperor does. As Kikis is backing out, he is chasing the play. So G2 Esports is not in sync. And in the river, there's 2 people that just don't have Perkz. Perkz is on 10% right now. He left the fight. No communication, no overview. They were in full vision, and G2 Esports elected not to use the information that was given to them yet again.
A little love in that mid lane for Naru here as the bot lane's getting taken down. Whoa, Sand Soldiers move forward. Wolf bite, not enough though. Just gonna have to get a rabies check real quick. It'll be fine. Naru flash down, still teleport to come back to lane, and that ultimate will soon be up for his Destiny.
All right.
So we got some turrets going down, Crepo. That gold, and now the map to be switched up. 21K to 18.8, so about 21 to 19 right now. SuperMassive with a 2K gold lead.
We're losing fights. Let's just play the map. Herald picked up by G2 Esports here. They're looking to start some sieges, group sieges with that Sivir. But SuperMassive, again, they make it work. You know, unrelented aggression, seemingly random sometimes, although that was a very good engage, very well timed. The cadence of their aggression will be matched with the beat of Destiny's cooldown. That's what we'll need to look for. Every time that comes up, where does Naru go? Where is he on the map? Who's he looking for?
It'll be very troublesome once they open up these turrets and they can start doing that from jungle side to jungle side. Teleports as well. Once SuperMassive gets some forward wards in, you might see G2 getting caught off guard.
Yeah, longer lanes, double teleport, and an additional global there. That's exactly what SuperMassive want to make use of. Let's keep an eye on if they have any deep lane wards. There is one in the bottom that they used earlier for the fight. Both TP. Oh, there's one TP available on Naru. But he's obviously under pressure though. That's the counter here. G2, they want to lock at least one of those globals in under the tower. And they'll say, well, you're going to leave this lane, it's going to cost you a tower. So it better be worth it.
All right, little 1v1 tussle here in the bot lane. Don't think much will come of it as the majority of members are hanging out in that mid side. Whoa, Perkz gonna get taken down here in mid, and that's the execute from Stomaged. They're on to Emperor now. And that was the divide coming out from Perkz. Maybe a quick hit on the cocoon, and that changed their mind, said we need to ult everything.
I mean, where's the cleanse?
Still gets their pick. Yeah, where's the cleanse if it was the cocoon? We'll have to see it again in the replay, but
Just a cooldown, actually. It's a minor cooldown still left on that cleanse. So we found the cleanse.
Oh.
Now we need to see, where's the Perkz? Why was he overextending
so he
again?
use cleanse. Then we'll see it. All right, good eye there, Crepo. Onto the Dragon. SuperMassive starting to pick quite a bit up here. Gaining that ground. 17 minutes of last game. G2 was up 2K. Stark difference here. Big lead coming in for SuperMassive.
Playing up here. Walks up, gets gold carded, flashes out, no cleanse. That's...
Oh, wow. CC chain.
That is just simply disrespecting, and this is not the first time we've seen this from Perkz in this tournament. With cleanse on such a short cooldown, disrespecting your opponent by walking up and simply flashing too late. While he's selecting the card, you still have the option to flash early and say, like, you know what, I made a mistake. But good follow-up again. SuperMassive worked very well as a team. Actually need to be careful here. It's a poke.
I gotta remember that boomerang. That hurts. He's gonna get over the wall. Dumbledoge should be all right. Very nice for Achuu to come back in that stand beside synergy.
TP's coming in.
Oh my gosh, this is these long lanes, the things you can't do. Try to make picks on the pick team. And they can even skirmish better at this point because they have the lead. Lamb's Respite is down, and it looks like they're gonna be able to take this as well.
Complete chaos here on the Rift. Perkz, he initially wanted to join this fight because he was so far out of the way. He was still coming back from base. He ran all the way into the enemy jungle, then figured out he was going to lose the fight, returned back to mid lane, picked up the scraps that were left there. A little bit remained on that tower HP. But again, this is G2 Esports initiating a play that they lose out on, and this is just very telling. No overview whatsoever.
Actually have the lead in turrets right now, but are just losing bodies left and right every time they go for something. It's kind of been the story of these games here at MSI. Very, very even, but it's just fights back and forth.
Yeah. And this is 28 deaths already this tournament for Trick. A player that was so calculated, so meticulous over in the European LCS. Just falling apart at the seams here.
Another one for SuperMassive. We just saw this in that top lane engage. Monsoon goes out. Achuu's actually going to be taken down. You see him hit in the top side, but they did lose Emperor, so a bit of a retribution kill for his teammate. Now it's going to be Hybrid going down. Hybrid actually did not get that kill. Nicely going over to Kikis, but the cleanup, here it comes. Kikis low on mana. fabFabulous over the wall, and he should have the steadfast speed to at least get the connection again. They're going to choose not to, and they're going to say, we have enough of what we want. I think that's actually a good thing to see from a team, is say, let's gain more of what we came for. We don't need that right now.
Trades left and right, bodies dropping everywhere.
Clean up the map, do it again.
fabFabulous flashes over the wall, then probably realizes his E is still on cooldown. Switches again here. Achuu with red buff engaging, but then the streak coming from the lane here.
Oh, the bait in.
And Dumbledoge's shield was kind of going out, so the red buff finishes off Emperor here. Again, this is a 1-for-1 trade, but the bigger mental hit goes to Emperor here, you know, killing your enemy and then dying to red buff. I think we need to start tracking the player cams a little more and see how this affects G2. Because playing on this stage, being already 1-5 against a team that, on paper, you just stomp. Like, this shouldn't even be close. This game should be over by 20-25 minutes if we follow G2's expectations. But clearly, a different team showed up to this tournament.
I mean, in the finals, you would see, you had the Perkz on LeBlanc almost controlling a game by himself. But teams aren't actually allowing that to happen anymore. They're understanding Perkz wants to do that and completely taking control of it. It's almost like they are easily able to play inside the head of G2.
Yeah, because SuperMassive just calm and collected here. Well, no, calm and collected is an overstatement. Calm and aggressive. But they're working together, because every time they fight, every time they fight, they have beautiful CC layering. Look at every time somebody gets knocked into a wall, the Cocoon follows up, Dumbledoge throws out his ultimate. These guys are working like a team. You can question the carry potential on an individual level, but they came here as a team. They have two rotating top laners. One of them's going in.
Glacial Fissure is down. Great target if Dumbledoge can get hit up. Stomaged getting in range for stand side. Or beside me, I should say, but Perkz finally picking up a bit for himself here. The Nashers and the Abyssal is finished, so he should be able to put out some damage. Naru, will he flash over the wall for this? It is up, but he just chooses the wild cards. The team was not confident yet. fabFabulous comes in slowly from the bottom side.
Yeah, fabFabulous in his game on the Poppy, not Thaldrin. Seemingly random swapping them in and out, but they both seem okay with it. Thaldrin in an interview said, well, you know what, we're playing 6-man roster, we're a team.
Yeah.
We play whatever strength we need, whatever champion we need, that player plays. No hard feelings. It's good to see that from SuperMassive.
The Lichbane Abyssal Scepter TF as well. Once they reach these turrets, Achuu and TF, or Naru, are just going to crush them down.
SuperMassive are still looking to keep the map open though. Use that mobility from the TF.
That's true.
They want a 1-3-1,
true.
use those double teleports, because teleports in fights themselves have no value in terms of combat summoners.
You can't teleport inside a team's base too much.
Yeah,
Use something available.
You just want to make them split, force them to react, say TF is pushing, get Perkz to match, then leave the fight, make it a numbers advantage, find a flank. This is also something SKT wasn't really doing with their 1-2-1. Yeah, they had 2 teleports, but they were still coming from the front door all the time. They weren't flanking. And the difference, for example, on how valuable a flank can be, just watch Zhao, who's LeBlanc, as opposed to Fakers, and you just tell that it's an entirely different champion almost.
Sometimes not even a flank, it's right in your face, right? He just takes you by surprise. But the flanks he does do, even when they're not kills, it's exactly what you need. It's a little added pressure that they find. 20 minutes on that clock. Home guards now assist these teleports and destinies around the map, so you got to be very careful for a fast fabFabulous coming in with a hammer. Emperor's going to pick red buff back up, hopefully keep himself a little bit safer in these fights, because he has easily been a target as a Sivir right away.
Yeah, and comparing this game to yesterday, it was G2 with the control, SuperMassive fighting back.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same G2 of the tournament, but a revigorated SuperMassive, because Stomaged had a really rough game yesterday, walking on a multiple of his own Kindred ultimates and simply dying to a flying hammer, to some minion aggro. But this game, he's been honestly setting the pace. Every time he showed up for a fight, he almost lands a cocoon and generates a kill. 2, 1, and 4 here. Good performance.
Kikis on the bot side, Rift Herald Naru just pushing a turret in the top. And it doesn't look like G2 is really going to get much on this turret. Finally, it does seem like Stomaged actually peeled off of this. But then so does G2. Very back and forth odd decisions are being made. The top or bottom turret doesn't initially go
fabFabulous is
down.
flanking though. He's looking to go in here. Probably waiting for that tower to go down in the mid lane. At least adding some pressure. Still half HP left on that Azir tower.
I see why. I was like, why are they backing off mid turret? So they could actually route them and make G2 feel more comfortable out taking that. Still something that could easily happen. Many wards here.
Stomaged is low.
SuperMassive behind. Trick is right under the turret, taking shots. They're going to go in for the fight. The ultimate from fabFabulous. Pushed back by the Emperor's Divide. Nobody really comes up with too much here. Dumbledoge has been dropped down, and we're going to get a hold on that. Seeing that action in the fight, somebody didn't feel something right. 2 kills came in for Emperor there, and we will find out what happened. We're 22 minutes into this game, and it has been back and forth. 38,000 to 37.6 right now.
Let's talk about how that play came to be. It was a pause initiated by Stomaged. I obviously don't know if he was the one with the issue. Maybe pause for a teammate there.
You can pause for a teammate.
G2 was playing towards their composition strength, which is sieging with 4 members and then leaving your teleport either with you, generally not really done as you're playing with an Ekko, on a side lane. Potentially you can join the fight if needed to. And then SuperMassive was kind of locked down, so they weren't the ones 1-3-1ing there. They were playing the 4-1 that G2 was playing, and that's why G2 was in the advantage. Because not only can they siege with the poke from Janna, from the Azir soldiers, they have backline protection too, with that turret that can pop up. So fabFabulous couldn't flank either. So G2 was really making use of their composition, and eventually desperately trying to defend that tower without a counterplay. Dumbledoge got poked down, Stomaged got poked down, and it came a fight that they lost then. Maybe something went wrong. Ulti wasn't pressed, maybe pressed. Need to figure out what that pause was about.
Great pressure on the map. You see that Naru is trying to walk back. He had TP and Destiny up, but it just didn't seem like he'd get there in time. Looking at, these guys are both 1 and 5, Crepo. We look where these placements in this tournament could actually mean from them. You see Europe, they usually have the 1-1-1, right? First pool, second pool, third.
We're talking about pools for seeding for Worlds.
Right.
So traditionally speaking, Europe has 3 spots at World Finals. 1 gets seeded into pool, call it Pool A, 1 in Pool B, 1 in Pool C. But if Europe does not make top 4, then they will fall into 5th or 6th place, and that will affect those seedings as well, because if they get 5th place, they get 2 seeds in Pool B, 1 in Pool C. If, God forbid, they fall all the way to 6th place, there will only be 1 European team in Pool B, and 2 of them will drop to Pool C. So that will be, for any of these European teams that are going to Worlds, very rough matchups, because these Pool C teams, they come out against the champions of the top 4 regions, and that's going to be rough.
And it's kind of like Europe is almost here to a chance to lose that, because SuperMassive,
they have nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. They have that to gain. They get that spot. They get that 5th spot, and they have now a 2, Pool 2, Pool 3, instead of a 2 in Pool 3.
Yeah.
Or Pool C, if you will.
Yeah, they can go up 1 pool, pretty much.
Right.
So
that's a huge spot. That is a huge spot.
Traditionally, international wildcard teams have came in, as the lowest seeded teams here at the World Finals. But
Right.
if SuperMassive can make it to 5th place, well, they go up support and they get seeded into one pool 2, and that's what they want. You know, as much chances as they get, slightly easier groups, maybe take a couple of games of some other teams, and they've been getting better every year. Because at the start,
There's
everyone's
no
like,
doubt about
everyone's
that.
like
We've
wild
seen
card
that
teams.
result.
It was almost a negative term, but people forget what it means for some of these regions that don't have access to
Hope.
that good of a structure, you know, that good of a league, but they're building on it. And the fact that SuperMassive here came from the Turkish Champions League, came to play here with the champions of every region and still performed, I think is a feat that we can't just state enough.
Yep, and they're doing it with something that a lot of teams don't do as well, is they can swap out a player while doing that. That 6-man roster, the confidence in switching up that style and being able to play that fluid. Looking now at the pause on the screen, as we said, Stomaged was the pauser, and it is because he felt that he was stuck against the turret at the time and he could not move. So they're reviewing that to see what the instance could have been. They are against an Azir, so it could have played into some of the case, but we will not guess. We will actually have the answer soon.
I'm just going to take a look at my screen here. It does look like he was stuck a little bit next to the tower. He repelled up, and obviously came down, had to flash out. But obviously, we have a team more capable than me handling it. Thank God they can't cast. I'd be out of my job too.
You're so nice, Crepo. Always saying pleasurable things about other people. Looking at the items on the board, still, it says close. I mean, there's the difference in the top lane. We've had fabFabulous teleporting out, making a few plays down towards the bot lane, so you'll get some CS to Kikis there. But overall, the kills on this pick composition are just flowing in for SuperMassive.
But SuperMassive sometimes have issues attaching objectives to the kills. Very early in the game, they got a dragon, maybe a tower. And the problem right now is they're not setting up the 1-3-1. And for many people out there, it's kind of being associated with a very boring term. It's very fascinating for me and Martin. We always talk about 1-3-1s, but it basically means that you pressure all 3 lanes and you force, the enemy team to divide. And G2's comp is strength in numbers. They work really well together. But then if they need to split up, obviously they can't play towards their strengths. And if you look at the roster here, combine any of these 2 picks, you know, a TF with an Elise, lock down 1 target, kill him. A Braum with a TF, you know, lock down 1 target and kill him. But then in team fights, they're a little bit squishy. They drop down a little quicker. You have the power of the Janna, for example, who can then reset an entire team fight altogether. And we saw really the power of that in some of CLG's games. And so far, it does seem that those range support may actually make a little bit of a comeback this tournament because it's so centric around team fights in the mid game.
Something that SuperMassive definitely trying to avoid. No Zanyas even yet for Naru. So they're like, I want to get in, I want to get out. I don't want any part of this fight other than a gold card. You guys can finish off that target. We'll see what they can continue to do here on the side of G2. It was a push down the mid lane as we wait for confirmation here. 22 minutes in, 6-9.
All right, we just got an update from production. The head referee right now is going to the stage to offer a remake for SuperMassive here. So there was a bug identified, and they're going to offer the remake, obviously, to SuperMassive. Now, if they like to keep playing, obviously, after the game, they won't be able to go, well, you know what, we'd like that remake now.
Right.
And now,
this is the choice now.
It puts them in a super tough spot, because they obviously don't know what G2 is going to get off the back of this push, because look at Dumbledoge, he's low, Stomaged just had to flash out, and he's heading back. Obviously, to my knowledge, and I think we can get this confirmed, but I'm like 90% sure this means also new pick and ban, because obviously these teams just revealed this pick, so just and playstyles attached to those picks, so just going back into the same champions can't be done here. So that is a very tough decision to make here for SuperMassive, because the gold is almost even. They've made it this far, but they also have struggled in the late game yesterday, because they were pretty much even at points, but they struggled. They couldn't really play the map as well, get many of these big objectives. They kind of tunneled on the Dragons as well against G2 Esports, and that was their downfall.
So they're given 1 minute now to discuss whether they will or will not decide to take the remake. Head ref is on stage right now, and they're deciding this. It was due to Stomaged repelling up, as Crepo saw, falling down within the turret range and actually having to flash out of the turret due to that. Yeah,
he did seem a little stuck on my screen as well, so it definitely was something that went wrong. Not much we can do about it now. The only thing that we can influence, or they can influence right now, is the decision that they will make. Seeing some smiles here, though. It's like, yeah, we'll remake. We'll take him. Or we don't remake. We'll take him anyways.
Or we don't, yeah.
Doesn't matter for us.
What is going to happen? So the decision to be very soon made. The referee obviously taught walking over and discussing it with G2, so there are no worse aware. They can understand what's going on.
Very stern referee as well. I used to have that referee when I played in North America. Yes, sir. No, sir. Now I work with him.
So it appears that SuperMassive have accepted the remake, and I believe we will be going back champions, picks, and bans. And we are going to remake this one. An unfortunate incident.
I mean, always look at the silver lining. This means more League of Legends.
Yeah, you're right. That's fantastic.
More early games, more laning phases, maybe a Bard, who knows?
All right, so now 22 minutes into this one. Unfortunate that we will have to remake, but G2 and SuperMassive will be going back to the champion picks and bans. For now, we are going to go ahead and throw it over to the analyst desk with Dash and the guys.
Thank you very much, Riv. Unfortunate, yes.